Hi everyone. Today I'm going to read you a story from the Ordinary People Change the World series. One day we read about Amelia Earhart, who was the first woman to fly across the ocean. And today we're going to read about a very, very special woman, important person in our history, whose name is Rosa Parks. I am Rosa Parks, and I will always stand up for what's right. I am Rosa Parks. Growing up, I was small for my age, and I was sick a lot too, since we didn't have money for a doctor. But that didn't mean I was weak. I'm not that short. Looks like you are. Rosa was shorter than her younger brother. When I was 11, as I was walking home from school, a boy on roller skates came zipping by and shoved me. He thought I'd be an easy target. He wasn't very nice, that boy. To his surprise, I turned around and pushed him back. I knew fighting was wrong, but I didn't want him picking on me again. His mother saw what happened, and she was mad that I'd pushed him. "Did you push my son?" Uh-oh, this is going to be bad. But you know that what made her even madder, I was black and her son was white. She immediately started yelling at me. "I'll have you put in jail and you'll never get out again." No question, it was scary, but my mother and grandfather taught me to respect myself and to expect respect from others. So instead of backing down, I stood my ground and calmly but firmly explained, "Your son was the one who pushed me. I didn't bother him at all." I wasn't just standing up to that mom or even to the boy on roller skates. I was standing up for myself. And after that, the boy and his mom never bothered me again. Still, it's hard to change things, and sometimes it can take a long time. Back then, if you were black, you were treated unfairly just because of the color of your skin. You weren't allowed to live in the same neighborhood as a white person, eat in the same restaurant, ride the same elevator, or use the same bathroom. You couldn't even drink from the same water fountain. One was marked for whites and the other for colored. When I was little, I used to wonder if white water tasted different than colored water. I even wondered if colored water came in lots of colors. But it didn't. The only difference was I had to walk outside or even down the block to get mine. Of course, it wasn't just about water fountains. This was my school, a small, old wooden building with one room and one teacher for all of us. Everyone from the 5-year-olds to the 6th graders were stuffed in that one room. There were no windows. We also brought our books home every night. Why? Because we were worried that the folks who hated the color of our skin would burn down our school. Since most of the kids had to work on the farm to earn money, we only went to school 5 months during the year. One kid yells out, "Less school, hooray!" And another kid says, "Don't say hooray, that's bad. It's not fair that the black children didn't get to go to school as often." Now here's the school for the kids who were white. Do you notice the difference? It was a new brick building with beautiful windows, new desks and plenty of books, plus a playground. They went to school 9 months out of the year since they weren't working in the fields like we were. No, there's no hooray about this. Now we can say hooray. Also, if you were Black, you had to walk to school, and if you were white, you got to take a bus. The worst part was when I'd walk home with my brother, the kids on the bus would throw trash at us. It made me feel horrible. There were no civil rights back then. The only solution was to move off the road. And really, what kind of a solution is that? As I got older, things didn't change much. The man on the bus is saying, "There's no room in here, lady." One winter, I was waiting for a local city bus. If you were Black, you had to ride in the back. If you were white, you rode up front. On that day, the back of the bus was packed. But there were plenty of seats in the front of the bus. I was just trying to find a place to sit, but as I entered through the front door of the bus driver said, "What do you think you're doing? You need to get off and use the back door. Only whites can come in the front door." But I'm already in. I tried to explain that there was no room to get in through the back. The driver didn't care. He wanted me off the bus. He grabbed me by my coat sleeve. I dropped my purse near the front door. To pick it up, I sat in the front seat, a white seat. It made the bus driver even madder. That's what he called it, my bus. He said, "Get off my bus." The bus wasn't his, though. It belonged to all of us. Still, that afternoon, the driver got his way, and he kicked me off. But I promise you, that wasn't the last time I'd face that bus driver. From there, in addition to working as a seamstress, I started working to change things. At the NAACP, we fought for fairer laws and made sure that people's stories were heard. I also stopped using the colored water fountains. I'd rather go thirsty than be treated poorly. It was the same with the separate elevators. Instead of riding them, I'd take the stairs. But as for real change, even I didn't know what was coming. It was the end of a busy Thursday. I was 42 years old, and I was on the bus going home. This time, I was sitting in the first row of the seats that were allowed for Black people. There was one man next to me and two women across from me. It was the same driver from before, the exact same one from all those years earlier. At the third stop, a few white people got on, filling the rest of the empty seats. There was one white person left standing, so the driver told those of us in my row, "Let me have those front seats." At first, none of us moved, and he asked again, "Y'all better make it light on yourselves and let me have those seats." The other three people got up, and I stayed right where I was. Sliding over to the window, I thought about what he was demanding. He wanted to take my seat away. He wanted to give it to that man. And why? Because I was Black and the man was white? I knew what the rules said, but I also knew in my heart that's not how you treat people. Without a doubt, the driver was mad, but I never lost my cool and I never raised my voice. "Are you gonna get up?" the bus driver yelled. And I said no. People say the reason I refused to give up my seat was because I was tired. And I was, but it wasn't the kind of tired that comes from making feet. The only tired I was tired of giving in. "Well, I'm going to have you arrested," said the bus driver. "Well, you may go on and do so." Before me, there were other brave women who had refused to give up their seats. Still, on that day, for violating the rules of Montgomery, Alabama, I got arrested. But by standing up for myself, I ignited a movement. From there, the Montgomery bus boycott began. For 381 days, that's well over a year, all Blacks in the city and even a few whites refused to ride the bus. Looks like the man that owns the bus company is saying, "But if you don't use the buses, we'll go out of business." And Rosa said, "Then maybe you should think about changing your rules." Finally, the rules were changed. Public buses were no longer allowed to separate people based on the color of their skin. That was only the beginning. Eventually, we were allowed to drink from the same water fountains, ride the same elevators, and yes, go to the same schools. In the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson wrote that we're all created equal. Finally, the nation was starting to act like it. Of course, that didn't mean the fight was over. There were thousands of other people just like that bus driver. But after hearing how I didn't give up my seat, there were now thousands more people just like me, together, inspired and committed to justice. Down in the bottom of the page, Martin Luther King is there. He's saying, "My name's Martin. Want to hear a rough draft of my speech?" "You bet I do," Rosa said. In my life, people tried to knock me down. They teased me for being small, being Black, being different. Let me be clear, no one should be able to do that. But if they try, you must stand strong. Stand for what's right. Stand up for yourself, even if it means sitting down. And when you do, others will follow you. What's the medal? It's the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the government's highest honors. George Washington got one too. Cool. Now can I say hooray? Rosa got a very big honor. She was a brave, brave woman. I am Rosa Parks. I am not a politician or a president or an actor or a famous business owner. I'm just an ordinary person. But I'm also proof that there's no such thing as an ordinary person. I hope you'll always stand up for yourself, and I'll hope that you'll remember that we're all in this together. These are some pictures of the real Rosa Parks. I love this saying, "The only tired I was tired of giving in." So that one picture is the picture of Rosa when she was brought to the police station. And the picture on the bottom was a typical classroom that Rosa went to when she was young. probably looks very different from the classrooms you guys have seen. This was a great story, one that was mixed with different emotions. It made me really sad and really mad that people treated Rosa the way they did. And it makes me extra sad that even today, some people treat people differently because they look different. And that is never okay. So it's up to every one of us to be the best we can be and see that that doesn't happen. And if it does happen, stand up for what's right. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful story about Rosa Parks. I'll be back to read to you again soon. Have a great day.